realize what you did? You killed a man. Your reason for killing him because he was a police officer.
Well, just so you know, you're under arrest. Okay? Yes.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your
You're nothing but a coward. You're a cold, calculating killer. For that, you must suffer the most severe punishment that the law allows. The sentence of the court is life, your natural life. Make that simple for your compromised brain. You're gonna die in prison.
You have taken the life of two outstanding members of our community, a police officer and a retired emergency responder, and you did so in the most egregious, deplorable way.
I'm not a murderer. I'm not a murderer.
This is Jeannine Jaramillo, who's facing 2 counts of felony first-degree murder, as well as aggravated fleeing, making a false report, and reckless driving in Santa Fe, New Mexico. On March 3rd, 2022, Jaramillo called 911 saying her boyfriend was holding her at knife point inside of their car.
Confirm your direction for me.
Headed south on I-25 in the northbound lane.
The kidnapping turned into a high-speed chase with multiple squad cars in pursuit. Then, things got even more dangerous.
We're again headed in the opposite lane of travel, so we're traveling north and southbound traffic.
Jaramillo's car turned into wrong-way traffic on a highway. The suspect, along with the officers trailing behind, dangerously weaved through oncoming traffic, reaching speeds of up to 90 miles per hour.
Copy. Anybody that's ahead, let's see if we can start slowing traffic down that's coming the opposite direction against them.
Speeds are at 90, light traffic.
This was a close call. One squad car barely swerved out of the way in time to miss a head-on collision with a black pickup truck. The squad car right behind him, however, wasn't so lucky.
Light traffic, speed still at 90.
Speed still 90, light traffic.
Officer Robert Duran died immediately upon impact. Unaware of the crash, the first squad car continued chasing the suspect.
He's wrecked out. Swipe the truck.
He's slowing down, going to the left. In the ditch right now.
Jaramillo's car swerved into the grass. Once officers arrived, Jaramillo jumped out of the car and ran towards them, screaming about her boyfriend.
Okay, stand by. So I have the victim right now in my car. She's saying it's her boyfriend, unknown on the name yet. He's got 1080 with the gun, went into these bushes right here.
Minutes later, 911 started receiving reports of the deadly crash.
SO 36 is out with a unit, and it looks like 286's car. She's advising she's out with a 10-7 officer.
This is the moment officers realized what happened.
In the 8-mile markers above us, please.
Officers rushed toward the side of the crash, and things didn't look good.
This guy is probably hurt the worst right now, and your officer is complaining of chest pain here.
A Las Vegas sheriff who happened to be on the road that day was the one to break the news.
I was coming from Las Vegas, and he was 10-7. Okay.
The other officers were hit hard.
Oh, man, I'm fucking pass out. Some water, brother? My fucking brother.
But Officer Duran wasn't the only one involved in the crash.
1984.
The driver of the pickup truck was a retired Santa Fe firefighter. He survived the initial crash, but passed away before paramedics could arrive. Meanwhile, Jaramillo still claimed her boyfriend was the one at fault.
I went to the driver's side, and jumped over to the driver's side, and he got into the passenger side, and then that's when he tried to, I thought he was going to kill me at that point, because he put the knife right into the door of the driver's side. I don't fight with people if they have like a weapon. I can't. I mean, it's scary. It's scary. I did not want to do this. I didn't want to do none of it.
However, police found evidence that her boyfriend had been dropped off at home before the chase even began. Jaramillo had lied. She was the only one in the car. Now in court, the victims' families described just how devastating this was.
My brother died trying to save her life. Her sorry but not sorry letter, it was also very hurtful and upsetting to hear the details of her accounts when my brother gave the ultimate sacrifice.
This is the moment the jury released Jaramillo's verdict.
We find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in count 1. We find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in count 2.
Jaramillo completely disagreed with their decision, and she wasn't afraid to show it.
And after you've been found out, what do you say?
I'm not a murderer. I am not.
I'm
not a murderer.
The judge didn't take kindly to her interruptions.
You have taken the life of 2 outstanding members of our community, a police officer and a retired emergency responder. And you did so in the most egregious, deplorable way. With respect to count 1, first-degree murder, Frank Lovato, I'm sentencing you to life imprisonment. With respect to count 2, first-degree murder, Robert Duran, I'm sentencing you to life imprisonment.
Jaramillo was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 8 years in jail. Jaramillo cursed the judge for sending her away, but what happens when it's the killer's family who makes a scene? Like in the case of Esteban Carpio, who's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in Providence, Rhode Island. In 2005, suspect Esteban Carpio was being interrogated for the stabbing death of an elderly woman.
Carpio had asked for water, and the 2 detectives that were in there with him, one left to go get the water and locked the door behind him.
While one detective was out, Carpio attacked the remaining officer, stole his weapon, and turned it on him.
And they tragically heard Detective Allen say, "I think he's going to kill me. He's got my gun, he's going to kill me." By the time they broke it down, the officer was dying, and Carpio had jumped out the window.
Carpio had shot Officer Allen twice in the chest before jumping out of the 3rd-floor interrogation room window, where he escaped.
And we've lost a remarkable man today. And this city is the worse for it.
He died serving us. He died a hero.
A frantic manhunt ensued, and police found and arrested Carpio before the end of the night. The next day, Carpio appeared in court for trial.
The air just kind of went out of the room for a second as everybody's eyes were transfixed on Esteban Carpio. They wanted to see, the man they perceived to be a monster who could have done this.
Carpio's family lost control at the sight of his injuries.
Step off.
That mask is usually placed on victims who are bleeding or spitting. However, Carpio's family claimed there was a different reason.
It's police brutality. He was mentally ill, and he needed help, and he couldn't get it. We tried and tried, and he didn't deserve this.
The jury found that Carpio's injuries were sustained during the 3-story fall and fight against his arrest. They did not charge officers with excessive force.
The murder of my husband was a cold and deliberate action. The jury found that Esteban Carpio was not insane at the time of the crime.
In the end, Carpio did show remorse.
Every day, I face the facts of what I did and what happened.
But it didn't matter. The judge sentenced him to the maximum possible sentence, life without parole. Carpio was willing to kill for his freedom, but what happens when someone kills a cop for revenge? Like in the case of Rodney Hinton Jr., who's facing charges for aggravated murder in Cincinnati, Ohio. On May 1st, 2025, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton had a fateful encounter with police.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right! He's got a gun!
According to police reports, Ryan and 3 others were suspected of car theft. When confronted, Ryan fled with what officers say was a loaded firearm. The following actions are still under investigation. Police allege that Ryan pointed a gun in their direction, after which an officer opened fire, fatally shooting him.
I can only imagine where you felt when you seen that video. Because when I finally seen it, and I watched that video from the beginning to the end, and watched my nephew drop the way he dropped, it was like my soul left my body.
After seeing the footage, Ryan's father, Rodney Hinton Jr., got behind the wheel and made a choice that would change his life forever.
Gathered you to give you an update on an incident that you're aware of, I'm sure, happened earlier this afternoon, approximately 1 p.m. We had an auto accident at Martin Luther King, Burnett Woods Drive, where a Hamilton County deputy was struck. He was outside his vehicle conducting traffic enforcement. He was struck by a vehicle.
Deputy Larry Henderson was directing traffic for a university graduation ceremony when Hinton sped toward him, causing a fatal crash. Now, with a second tragedy on their hands, the Hinton family was devastated.
We are very close family. This is killing us.
Ryan, I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you. Ever. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry, Ryan.
In court, Hinton's audience was filled with supporters.
Got to have a seat. Got to have a seat. Have a seat, sir. Sit down. That's my brother.
But soon, the police stepped in. Deputies pushed the crowd out into the hallway where the commotion continued. The man in black is Hinton's brother, who has only one goal: support Hinton.
Come on, man. Y'all cool. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me.
He shouted to get his brother's attention, but deputies quickly intervened.
They did it before. I got video of them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me.
Hinton's brother was escorted away to calm his nerves.
Doing all that. And see me one-on-one, man. And that funny motherfucker there with my brother, man.
Back in the courtroom, Hinton pled not guilty, but the evidence says otherwise.
Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop, or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
His lawyer, however, doesn't dispute the fact that Hinton caused the crash. It's the motive he's worried about.
I think the conduct in question is classic mental illness, criminal conduct. That's a hallmark sign that somebody is not in their right frame of mind, no attempt to deceive, no attempt to hide what they did.
For now, the judge has to decide whether to let Hinton out on bond. This is his decision.
Thank you. Your Honor, for the record, we'd ask the court to put a bond on him now, but we understand that it's not a voluntary request.
All right, no bond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
we can hold him at no bond for 72 hours,
Yes,
is that right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
On his way out, Hinton made a gesture of appreciation toward his supporters. Hinton faces charges of aggravated murder. If convicted, he could face up to life in prison. Hinton's revenge killing broke his family's heart twice, but that can't compare to a man who commits quadruple homicide with a smile on his face.
Inmates surrounded Officer George Midget. Too graphic for TV, but investigators say Brady hit Midget in the head with a hammer.
Like in the case of Mikel Brady, who's facing 4 counts of first-degree murder in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Everything, and you get stepped on over and over.
4 prison employees were killed in the October 2017 escaped attempt.
For months, prison inmate Mikel Brady had been hatching a deadly plan. Brady was serving a 24-year sentence for shooting at a police officer. While behind bars, he began working at the prison's sewing factory and warehouse, giving him access to deadly weapons.
The 4 inmates had been planning this escaped attempt for some time. They were stashing tools and other supplies.
Desperate for freedom, Brady and 3 other accomplices hatched their plan. First, they gathered wood and cardboard into the warehouse to use as kindling for a fire. Then, they lured one officer behind boxes where they murdered him. Next, they set fire to the warehouse as a distraction. The fire still unnoticed, the group headed outside the warehouse where they met their next target. While a guard talked with an accomplice, Brady snuck up from behind with a hammer.
Her whole face and head were covered in blood.
Chaos inside the Pasquotank Correctional Institute. Police body camera video captured the moments just after a deadly escape attempt in October 2017.
Correctional officers and just people just, for lack of better words, plugging holes with wounds and with gauze and wounds and stuff like that.
By then, the warehouse was filled with blood and smoke. One of the accomplices had flooded the entire floor, making it that much more difficult for help to arrive.
Because I slid actually trying to even stop at that doorway. But it was so smoky and the water was murky.
Emergency services arrived at the scene to find 4 bodies, all employees of the jail.
It was like a bloodbath. Literally when I stepped in between Jeffrey and Wendy, and I slid trying to get in because the whole elevator floor was nothing but blood.
Meanwhile, the 4 attackers attempted to jump the fence with dozens of officers in tow. They were caught before escaping. During interrogation, Brady quickly admitted to being the mastermind behind this massacre. However, he had one regret. Brady cried recounting the murder of Officer Veronica Darden, who he says was always kind to him. In court, the prison nurse recounts how she found Darden's body.
First, when I went to open her airway, my fingers literally went into her. And that's when I told my nurse, I said, her nail's been cut.
On the witness stand, Brady showed much less remorse.
I stabbed him like 4 to 8 times. She was supposed to go down in one hit. I'm up here to tell the truth. You can ask me anything you want. I'm gonna tell the truth. How it was.
He detailed the killings as if they were simple facts.
But there's only 2 possibilities that I wanted to happen on this thing. A is I escape and get my freedom. B is I get them to kill me and I still get my freedom.
Unluckily for him, Plan A failed, and so did Plan B.
I was trying to get every officer that responded to shoot me.
No officer killed him that day, but that doesn't mean Brady's life was saved. This is the moment the jury released their sentence.
A jury unanimously recommending that the defendant be sentenced to death.
It looks like Brady's wish will come true after all. All 4 attackers were sentenced to death for their crimes. Curiously enough, Brady seemed dedicated to getting his victims justice in court, but this next defendant has other priorities. Like in the case of Gregory Wright, who's facing charges for armed robbery, carrying a concealed weapon, and aggravated robbery in Detroit, Michigan. Back in 1994, Wright slammed his car into a police cruiser and then shot backwards at the officers while attempting to escape. He hit one officer in the arm, but did not cause further injury. After his arrest, Wright had a strong message for the public.
All I got to say is I have no remorse for shooting that police officer. He got what he deserved. If I had the opportunity to kill him, I'd kill him.
He didn't show a shred of remorse, and neither did the judge. She set his bond at $50,000. Wright's response? Wright broke free from the officers and made an impressive jump over the partition, but he was stopped by other courtroom security guards before he could get too far. It took half a dozen officers to get Wright under control. And even then, it was a struggle. The judge understandably revokes bond, condemning Wright to a cell while he waits for trial to begin. Against 7 officers, Wright was doomed from the very beginning. What happens when the defendant is black and blue even before stepping foot in court?
Why'd you do it? Where have you been hiding?
Like in the case of Markeith Loyd, who's charged with aggravated first-degree murder, aggravated assault, and 1 count of attempted murder in Orlando, Florida. In 2016, 41-year-old Markeith Loyd was on the run for killing his pregnant girlfriend, Sade Dixon.
The baby on his head. The baby standing on his head.
While on the run, Loyd crossed paths with a police officer, Deborah Clayton, while buying groceries in a Walmart. Officer Clayton didn't even notice him. She continued buying groceries and then left, headed for work, but she would never arrive. When she returned to her car, Clayton received a tip that Loyd was inside the Walmart. She then apprehended Loyd in the parking lot, who pulled out a gun and opened fire.
I'm walking down the side, right past the officer. I heard her tell him to stop or whatever. He shot her. He shot her down, and he took off running.
Now wanted for 2 murders, Loyd was on the run again, but police found him. Police surrounded his hideout, and Loyd crawled forward to surrender himself. Once he surrendered, police were caught on footage kicking Loyd in the head at least twice during the arrest. Loyd was very vocal about the violence he faced.
Why'd you do it? Where have you been hiding?
He claimed police brutality, but a third-party investigation later found that the police were justified in their use of force. Now in court, Loyd's injuries were obvious, but they pale in comparison to his foul mouth.
Y'all making up shit like I just went in there and shot this girl, endangering my family.
Okay, a judge is a...
What if other people want to do something back? Y'all portray this to the news people like I just went in there and shot this girl when there was other guns found on the scene.
Loyd constantly interrupts the judge, talking about nothing except his own injuries.
Sir, so
Yeah, she should know that. She a lawyer. What's she talking for?
So here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead.
I'm not finished talking because y'all been making up the whole time, and then y'all make up stuff on my family.
It'll be on the paperwork for determination of counsel.
And then when they had me in the hospital, the Channel 9 News sent out that way for me to come out to see what they did for me. Or they done took my eye. They done broke my nose, broke my jaw. They did all this that I resisted, but I crawled out to the mother road. So how did I resist? I ain't resist. They just did that. They tried to hide it from the news people, but I'm here right now.
Loyd's potty mouth is out of control. And next, it gets him thrown out of court.
You are refusing to discuss your initial complaint against counsel at this time. Is that correct? Mr. Loyd, watch your tone and the way you speak. Out. Out.
The judge was shocked at his behavior. Even more shocking, though, was the next emotion he displayed in court.
And then let me go forward, sir.
I told you I ain't trying to kill you, brother.
Loyd looks down, crying, shaking his head. At one point, a deputy checks on him.
During a witness testimony, Loyd broke down in tears after hearing about Officer Clayton. Loyd continued crying for multiple minutes before the judge took action.
Sir, just a second, please. Folks, we need to take a quick break. If you all step out of the courtroom, please.
Despite showing remorse over the officer's death, Loyd completely denied all responsibility for the death of his pregnant girlfriend.
I'm not going to do it to my queen. When I had her at school, I was sleeping in the car, so she stayed focused on school.
He claimed he was the perfect boyfriend and blamed her death on her own misbehavior.
She done pulled a gun on me already, and I took her gun. I know they hurt, I'm hurt. It wasn't my fault.
The jury didn't believe his story. It was time for the cold-blooded killer to learn his fate. First, for Sade Dixon's murder.
As to count 1, first-degree murder of Sade Dixon, the court hereby sentences you to life in prison.
And then for killing Lieutenant Deborah Clayton.
I previously adjudicated as you honor on Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. I hereby sentence you to death.
In a closed courtroom, the judge sentenced Markeith Loyd to death for the murder of Sade Dixon and Officer Clayton. Loyd may have shed a tear for his fate, but that can't compare to a defendant who begs the judge for his life.
Your Honor, just execute me there because I can't get any kind of justice.
Like in the case of Ashford Thompson, who's on trial for aggravated murder in Twinsburg, Ohio. In 2008, Officer Josh Mictarian pulled over Thompson for playing loud music at 2 in the morning. While Mictarian was distracted, Thompson pulled out a gun and shot Mictarian 4 times in the head. In court, lawyers showed the jury all of the evidence: the murder weapon, bullet projectile paths, and even the blood stains on Thompson's shoes. Mictarian's family was horrified.
Your mother did not raise a killer, but you turned into a killer that night. You put the gun to my son's head and pulled the trigger, killing him. And that wasn't good enough. You had to shoot him 3 more times while he lay down there dead, caving in the side of his head. The shot that took his life also took mine. I'm dead inside.
Mictarian's mother was close to tears, but his late wife was irate.
How can you believe in God? How can you even think that God can forgive you for what you've done? You shot your husband in the head.
She laid into Thompson, making her rage very clear.
Your girlfriend getting out of the car that night gave you that 2 seconds to get that gun in your pocket and shoot him in the head. And then you bent over and you shot him again and again and again. You put the gun on his head. That's disgusting.
However, Thompson had no response.
Anything you want to say to the victim's family? Are you sorry for what you did?
Thompson's silence spoke volumes to the jury. This is the moment they released their verdict.
We, the jury, being duly impaneled and sworn, find the defendant, Ashford L. Thompson, guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the offense of aggravated murder as charged in the indictment.
Thompson didn't show a shred of emotion, but the trial's not over yet. At sentencing, Thompson showed a shocking change of heart.
Just execute me there because I can't get any kind of justice. I'm tired. I'm at the end of my rope. What can I do?
Instead of remorse, though, all Thompson gave were complaints about his cellmates.
How can these people just do anything they want? They don't even follow their command the right way. I've been harassed for I don't know how long. I'm trying to hold it in just to get this over with.
But Thompson's going to have to get used to jail life. This is the moment the judge released his sentence.
Therefore, the court concurs with the jury's sentence and hereby sentences Ashford Thompson on merged counts 1 and 2 to death for the aggravated murder of Joshua Mictarian.
Thompson wasn't afraid to beg for mercy, but somehow this next defendant's actions are even scarier.
Wake up soon? No, no more.
Like in the case of Luis Bracamontes, who's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in Sacramento, California. In 2014, illegal immigrant Luis Bracamontes began a crime spree that began with stealing a car and ended in the tragic deaths of 2 Sacramento police officers.
An undocumented immigrant is accused of murdering Sacramento County Sheriff's Deputy Danny Oliver and then Placer County Sheriff's Detective Mike Davis Jr. during a crime spree that also included carjacking and other shooting victims in October of 2014.
An extensive manhunt followed, and eventually, Bracamontes was taken into custody. In court, Bracamontes seemed to enjoy the rehashing of his crimes.
And then just shot him right in the head and kept shooting.
Despite his obvious entertainment, Bracamontes said this to the court.
There was no need to provoke the
Be silent. Be silent.
He offered to plead guilty, but the court refused to accept. They wanted the death penalty.
Mr. Bracamontes is responsible for the deaths of Deputy Danny Oliver and the death of Detective Michael Davis. He shot them both.
However, Bracamontes wasn't ashamed of his crimes. In fact, he bragged about them.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're able to step out of the hallway.
If you thought that was bad, listen to what he says next.
I will break up soon and I will kill more.
Bracamontes' outbursts are unfathomable, but they can't compare to his reaction when he learns his sentence.
We find the defendant guilty. We further find the allegation that the defendant used and intentionally and personally discharged a firearm.
He flashes a chilling smile, and after the jury finishes their verdict, he lets out an audible victory cry.
We find the defendant guilty.
As if that wasn't heartless enough, Bracamontes then shoots a sarcastic smile at his victim's mother, and she smiles right back at him.
I just looked at him, I said, smile, sucker. Justice is done for Danny and Mike.
Bracamontes killed out of bloodlust. But how does that compare to a killer who brings a gun to a taser fight?
No, you can't do that.
You're not doing
that.
Like in the case of Kenneth Dehart, who's charged with first-degree murder in Alcoa, Tennessee. In February of 2024, deputies Greg McCowan and Shelby Eggers noticed a car swerving into the wrong lane in front of them. At first, everything seemed normal.
Now that we're out of the way there,
I'm sorry.
that's all right. My name's Shelby. I work for the Blount County Sheriff's Office. I stopped you not because you were all over the road.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't notice it. I just put my hair up.
Putting your hair up?
Yeah.
Okay.
But soon enough, Deputy Eggers got suspicious.
Car smells like weed, and he was in the opposite lane.
Then, the deputy asked Dehart to exit the car.
I just need you to step out of the car, Kenny.
I'm refusing to search, man.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen if you don't step out of the car. We're going to have to drag you out of the car, and then you're going to go to jail.
That's when things get ugly.
Get out of the car.
I'm not. No.
You're about to go to jail for refusing.
No, you can't do that.
You're about to go to
that. You can't do this, man. You can't do this. Get your hands off of me.
Dehart fought against the deputies, prompting them to bring out the taser.
Get him out. I just got tased.
The situation was tense, but what Dehart does next is unforgivable.
335 shots fired. I'm hit. 334's hit.
As Dehart drove away, Eggers realized that her partner had been killed. Deputy McCowan died almost immediately, and Eggers was quickly bleeding out.
Help! Help, I've been shot! I've been shot, help! 335.
Thankfully, emergency services arrived in time to save her life. However, it was too late for McCowan, and the shooter was nowhere to be found. Police searched for 5 days before they found Dehart in a home just 20 miles away. Unaware that the police had caught him, Dehart wandered into the backyard just to be met with a pair of handcuffs.
Hey, at 3:22 today, we arrested the man that murdered my deputy.
If you thought Dehart would go down easy, think again.
I guess you're that scapegoat. You're that publicity stunt because you black, huh? Make it look good. It don't justify what they did to me.
He spent the entire ride to the station trying to convince the driver that the other officers had used unnecessary force to arrest him.
Black man, You gonna watch him kick and beat on me again? Beat my glasses off of me, so I ain't allowed to have I can't see.
However, neither the driver nor any other officer showed Dehart any mercy. In court, Dehart was charged with first-degree murder. His trial date is set to 2026. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. As unbelievable as Dehart's crimes are, what sort of killer makes his victim's widow cry? Like in the case of Jesse Michael Gomez, who's charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and felony possession of a weapon in San Diego, California. In 2016, officers Jonathan de Guzman and Wade Irwin spotted two suspicious men walking down the street. When they saw the cop car, the two men parted ways, prompting Officer Irwin to investigate. Officer Irwin was barely out of the car before Jesse Gomez shot him in the throat. Then, he turned the gun on Officer de Guzman. In court, Gomez's defense claimed he thought the officers were actually rival gang members out to get him.
As a car slowly approached Jesse Gomez from behind in the darkness, and a man confronted him from behind, Jesse Gomez was afraid for his life.
But Gomez's crimes were too callous.
He turns his attention towards Officer de Guzman, who's seated in the police car, who hasn't even gotten out. And he turns his attention to him, and he fires, not once, not twice, 5 times.
On the witness stand, Officer Irwin recounts the events of that night.
It still feels like it was yesterday. It feels like I'm living a nightmare. My last memory of him that I have to live with every day of my life is watching the defendant walk up to the car and execute him.
To his credit, Gomez seemed to show remorse for his crimes.
I just want to let the Guzman family to know that this was not an intentional act. If I could trade places with Officer Guzman, I would, but I cannot. And I am truly sorry for that.
But when the victim's family members took the stand, it left Gomez in tears.
Be strong and stuff. And all these people telling me that I'm strong, but I'm just a young kid. And I'm not strong, even though I'm trying to be.
De Guzman's widow let her hatred loose in court.
Hope that they give you the punishment you deserve.
But she never expected her husband's killer to apologize.
Sorry, Mr. Guzman, from the bottom of my heart.
Mrs. de Guzman had to leave the courtroom to compose herself. Finally, it was time for Gomez to learn his fate.
An automatic motion for modification of the verdict and finding imposing the death penalty. It is the order of this court that you shall, for this murder conviction, suffer the death penalty.
Gomez claims he killed out of fear for his own life. But what sort of person kills over a bicycle?
Are you sorry? What you doing? Tyrone!
Why'd you do it, Tyrone?
Why did you shoot the officer, Tyrone? Are you sorry?
Like in the case of Tyrone Howard, who's facing charges for murder, robbery, and gun possession in New York City. In 2015, Officer Randolph Holder responded to a call of shots fired and a bicycle stolen at gunpoint in Harlem. Minutes later, CCTV catches Tyrone Howard fleeing the scene on a bike, a police car chasing after him. Now close to the Harlem River, Howard pulled out a gun.
He puts the bike down, he pulls out his weapon, and he fires one time, striking the officer in the front of the head.
Officer Holder was killed instantly.
This jackal is pure evil and should never walk the streets.
After his arrest, Tyrone Howard refused to respond to reporters.
Tyrone, what are you doing?
Tyrone, why'd you do it?
Tyrone, why did you shoot
Why'd you do it, Tyrone?
Sorry. Over here, Tyrone. Tyrone.
Cameras were not allowed in the courtroom, but after years of trial, Howard was found guilty of his crimes.
The perpetrator involved here was obviously a hardened, violent criminal and should not have been on the streets.
According to reports, Howard didn't even flinch as the judge handed down his sentence, death. While on the run, Howard had the wherewithal to throw the murder weapon into the river. Our next defendant wasn't so smart.
You can see investigators are out at this Rio Rancho shopping plaza near Pine Tree and Southern looking for clues. They're trying to piece together what happened to Officer Greg Benner.
Like in the case of Andrew Romero, who's charged with capital murder and tampering with evidence in Bernalillo County, New Mexico. In 2015, Officer Greg Benner pulled over a couple driving a stolen vehicle. As he approached, the man in the passenger seat pushed the woman out of the car. When Officer Benner rushed to her aid, the passenger leaned through the window and shot Benner various times. With the woman still on the ground, the passenger quickly got in the driver's seat and drove off. Thankfully, there were civilians close by who witnessed the shooting.
And within minutes, if not seconds, there were citizens and EMS and our officers on scene to try to render first aid.
They rushed to Benner's aid, but it wasn't enough.
Those people are definitely heroes in our eyes. The efforts at the scene were amazing. It was unfortunate that the injuries were so severe.
The next day, police found the getaway car and the suspect in the process of robbing a nearby gas station with the very same gun. When Romero exited the gas station with money in hand, police were waiting for him.
I looked across to my right and where that gas station was and saw a silver Impala. At that point, I saw a male subject run out of the store and get into the front passenger seat of that Impala.
In court, the driver of the car confessed that she was Andrew Romero's girlfriend and that they had been out scoping potential robbery victims when Officer Brenner approached.
It's life without parole. Why give him any more? Because it's the right thing, Judge. It sends a message. It sends a message that in this court, life without parole isn't even enough. You will get every day that the law entitles this court to give. And that's what I'm asking for, Your Honor. Thank you.
And I hope follow you when you're 30, when you're 40, if you're like 50 or 60. Those 5 words, Mr. Romero, are, you will die in prison. The judgment of the court is as follows with respect to the murder charge. You're committed to permanent corrections for the rest of your natural life.
The courtroom was full as the judge released Romero's sentence, life in prison plus 60 years. His girlfriend was sentenced to only 16 years. After the court proceedings ended, the Rio Rancho police force gave a special gift to the fallen officer's widow.
This is what I've been waiting for. The last thing that was on him. I know this would have been one of the last things that he would have touched and put on. He's so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of what he did, and to have this next to my heart, I'll keep it next to my heart always.
Romero's heartless crimes landed him behind bars for life. But what happens when the perpetrator cries out of guilt?
I'm glad they caught him, because he needs to pay for what he's done to a father who has children and for his wife. I mean, this is wrong.
Like in the case of Marco Parilla, who's charged with first-degree murder in Tarpon Springs, Florida. In 2014, Officer Charles Kondak responded to a 911 noise complaint from a vehicle playing loud music in a residential neighborhood just before sunrise. Inside the car was 23-year-old Marco Parilla. As Officer Kondak approached, things quickly escalated.
He took his gun out, which was a .40 caliber handgun that had 7 rounds in it, and he fired him at the officer, striking the officer once in the upper body.
Kondak was too wounded to draw his own gun. Instead, he lay helpless in the driveway behind Parilla's car.
He puts the car in reverse, and he backs up out of the driveway, and he runs over the cop.
Kondak had been shot and run over, and Parilla was to blame.
His reason for shooting the officer was he, quote, felt like a caged rat.
Parilla was caught later that day. Surprisingly, he did show remorse.
You have anything to say for yourself? I apologize to the family. That was not my intention. You apologize? Yes.
Parilla apologized for his crime at every opportunity, but Condek's old co-workers didn't believe him.
There's absolutely no excuse. There's no, mistaking. I don't care what he told you guys when he's walking into the jail. It's all a bunch of nonsense.
In court, Parilla made a shocking decision.
Did you decide at some point that you wanted to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
Did you always want to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
Were you afraid?
Yes, sir.
He pled guilty to his crimes, but perhaps even more shocking is his behavior when addressing Condek's family.
I'm sorry for taking your son away. I never meant to. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. And I know it wasn't supposed to be this way. I wish I could take it back. Every second of my life, I wish I could take it back.
Parilla was close to tears on the stand, and right before sentencing, Parilla took another opportunity to show his remorse.
I'm writing this apology to ask you for your forgiveness. I never wanted to take the life of no one, let alone a hero. I really want everyone in the community to know that I am not a monster and that I am sorry for causing pain to the community.
However, the police chief, who was also a close friend of Officer Condek, wanted the maximum punishment.
The state attorney has or is seeking the death penalty. We fully support that. We are talking about one of our heroes, one of our police officers that this guy murdered in cold blood.
But Parilla begged the jury to spare his life.
I beg you to please spare my life and give me a chance to better myself and others around me.
This is the moment the jury released their sentence.
You will never, ever be released from prison. Did you realize that?
Yes, sir.
When you pled guilty, did you understand that you gave up your right to a jury trial where the state of Florida would have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you had killed Officer Condek?
Yes, sir.
That you had done so with premeditation?
Yes, sir.
And did you give up the right to require the state of Florida to prove each and every element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, sir.
Knowing that there would be a certainty, and the certainty would be what?
Definitely.
Or?
Life in prison.
Parilla received life in prison for the murder of Officer Condek. Parilla seemed to show genuine remorse for the murder, but what happens when the would-be victim shows up in court? Like in the case of Christopher Cook, who's charged with the attempted murder of a police officer in Albuquerque, New Mexico. In January 2015, Officer Lou Golson pulled over a speeding car. When he ran the plates, he realized the car had been stolen.
Turn it off.
Golson never expected what the driver did next. The driver, Christopher Cook, shot Golson in the leg and the torso. Golson fired back, emptying his gun at Cook with no success. Cook made a break for it, and Golson was too wounded to follow. Instead, he called for backup to catch his would-be killer.
Running northbound San Mateo with a blue hat, blue jeans.
More officers were on their way, but Golson was quickly losing blood. Finally, help arrived.
Hurts. Stomach, leg. He's gone. Yeah, my fucking leg hurts. My arm hurts.
Which leg's hurting?
My right leg. I think he had my fucking gun.
I don't see an injury or anything. Direction of travel.
North.
Cook was long gone by the time the police arrived, but he left DNA and fingerprints that led police straight to him.
Sir, tell us what happened Saturday morning. Why did you do this?
I don't remember Saturday. I haven't slept in 2 weeks.
Through investigation, police discovered that Cook was a seasoned car thief. He shot Golson to avoid arrest.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you have anything to say to his family?
I don't know his family.
Now in court, Officer Golson made a point to attend. Even after a year of recovery, he was still in a wheelchair due to his injuries.
I was ambushed for no reason. The door opened. He had a gun already in his hand. fired 4, maybe 5 shots.
Golson said Cook was a danger to the community and begged her to keep him behind bars.
The fact that he would resort to deadly force to cover up a property crime shows he has no respect for life, the law, or the safety or property of others.
The judge agreed. She sentenced him to 20 years behind bars for the shooting. Officer Golson was lucky to survive his encounter with the gunman, but these next 2 officers didn't share his luck.
It is a painful day for all of us. It's a painful day for all New Yorkers. It is a painful day for all members of the NYPD.
Like in the case of Demetrius Blackwell, who's charged with murder, attempted murder, and criminal possession of a weapon in New York. In a news interview, the NYPD police chief describes the fateful events of May 2nd, 2015.
Officer Moore was seated in the driver's seat, and Officer Jansen was in the passenger seat when they observed a male black in his 30s, walking and adjusting an object in his waistband.
The officers called out to the man and asked what was in his waistband. That's when this happened.
The male immediately removed a firearm from his waistband and turned in the direction of the officers and deliberately fired several times into the vehicle, striking Officer Moore in the head.
The killer fled, but witnesses traced him to a house in Queens. A SWAT team surrounded the house, and after an hours-long standoff, they had Demetrius Blackwell in custody. In court, Blackwell showed no emotion, not even as one of the victim's mothers took the stand.
My world was forever changed. My world was forever turned completely upside down, unrecognizable to me anymore. I was left racked by pain, extreme loneliness, grief, and unbearable agony. Never again will my life have any resemblance to my future, to my former life.
But his mother wasn't the only one disgusted by Blackwell's crimes.
Mr. Blackwell, you're nothing but a coward. What did you do after you shot the officer? You ran like a coward. Calculating killer. You realize what you did? You killed a man for no reason at all. Your reason for killing him because he was a police officer and you knew you were wanted for the incident 6 months ago, which is why you were carrying a gun that day. You were prepared to do what you did. So all this nonsense about a compromised brain that I heard does not fly when you look at the evidence in this case. You knew exactly what you were doing when you did it. For that, you must suffer the most severe punishment that the law allows. The sentence of the court is an indeterminate sentence in New York State prison, the maximum of which is your natural life, and the minimum is 40 years. Make that simple for your compromised brain. You're going to die in prison. You'll never breathe a breath of fresh air outside the concrete and steel confines of a New York State prison.
The judge gave Blackwell the maximum sentence, life in prison. However, Moore's family still isn't satisfied.
I feel that if New York State had the death penalty, I'd love to see this animal put down once and for all.
Blackwell took 2 lives over an innocent question. But in this next case, one Southerner becomes a one-man army against innocent deputies.
Oh, goddamn!
Like in the case of Ralph Elrod, who's facing multiple charges, including malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault on a peace officer in Byron, Georgia. On November 16th, 2016, 2 men took their ATVs for a joyride around their neighborhood. Minutes later, their enraged neighbors stopped them in the street.
Hey, you keep running this goddamn shit up there my ass, I'm gonna shoot your motherfucking ass.
Oh, my fault, man.
Understand me?
Yes, sir.
I ain't fucking tired of your goddamn bullshit.
Yes, sir.
When they arrived home, the 2 men called the police to report the threat. When police arrived at Elrod's house, he thought they were on his side.
Tell me what's going on with your neighbors.
Man, I've had multiple complaints with these people over here.
He tried painting his neighbors as habitual offenders, but the deputy wasn't buying it.
This is the first complaint I've heard about it, okay? And the problem is that you took what you felt was your authority out in the road.
Slowly, Elrod realizes the police aren't on his side.
No, and you told that man. You told that man that you're gonna kill him.
No.
Well, I'm just telling you, I can't. They had a video going, and that's terrible for you. Yeah, terrible for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Elrod tried one last time to paint his neighbors as criminals.
Y'all won't do anything. He's running a business over here. He's not paying taxes. For the last 10 or 11 months, man, it ain't been nothing but pure hell in this neighborhood because of them.
Then the officer asks a question Elrod doesn't expect.
Where's your gun at?
What difference does that make? No, you don't.
Well,
Elrod is suspicious, and for good reason.
Well, just so you know, you're under arrest. Okay.
Elrod reaches for the gun in his waistband. The deputy reaches for his too, but he's too slow. Elrod shot and killed both officers. With seconds to spare before more backup arrives, Elrod armed himself for war.
Oh, goddamn!
Backup had arrived, and it turned into a gunfight. Elrod was shot in the abdomen almost instantly, but he refused to give up. Using the dead officer's car as cover, he shot at reinforcements. That is, until he couldn't take the pain anymore. Elrod gave up and submitted himself to the authorities. In court, Elrod faced the maximum punishment.
Mr. Elrod, you've been charged with the offense of murder. You understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
This is the most serious charge we have. It carries a maximum penalty of death. You understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Georgia is a death penalty state, but luckily for him, the victims' families didn't push for it.
Just having to put the families through that for the next 20 years, and you know, with his age, the potential of him living long enough to be put to death is not very good. So
instead, the judge sentenced Elrod to life in prison plus 100 years. But there's one more shocking detail in this case. Elrod's own son is a police officer.
That he never has to confront someone with the temperament and callous disregard for innocent life is real outstanding to Elrod.
Elrod's rampage was like an action movie gone wrong. What our next officer encounters is a scene straight out of a horror movie.
I then observed Deputy Colangelo standing up, and there was blood all over his chest coming from his neck area. He was holding pressure with, I believe, 2 hands. What he told me is I went to go make contact with her, and she turned around and stabbed me.
Like in the case of Leigha Day, who's charged with attempted premeditated first-degree murder in St. Lucie County, Florida. In March of 2022, Deputy Colangelo replied to a call about a potentially disoriented car crash victim wandering the Florida beach.
1023. Hello. What's going on? Man, stop real quick.
He spotted Michelle Day along the beach, obviously disoriented and hysterical.
All right. Were you just in a crash? Ma'am, come up here. Don't walk away. No walking. Come over here.
Worried, Deputy Colangelo tried to convince Day to come with him to the hospital.
Walk upstairs, all right? Let's get out this water area.
I don't want to. I'm scared.
You're scared? All right, let's walk up here. Let's get off this water, okay? Don't run. Slowly walk.
Little did he know, he was about to die. Colangelo fired at her but missed. and Day was long gone. Later, Colangelo recounts the moves that saved his life.
The events happened. It just automatically went through my head. What do we do in training every time? Just when you have a wound, you apply pressure, and it was second nature. Yes, I had my flashlight in my left hand. I just used my flashlight in my hand just to hold my neck as hard as I could to try to get all that bleeding to stop.
Minutes after the attack, Day was found walking back into the water.
Get over here! Walk to the sound of my voice. You better not have that knife or I'll fucking shoot you right now. Keep going, keep coming. I got her. Yeah. Get on the ground.
At the hospital, doctors told police they suspected Day to be under the influence of narcotics. During interrogation, Day refused to speak.
I'm still trying to figure out why it happened. What made you panic to... Only you can answer the panic. You were there.
And when she did speak, it only made things more confusing.
Are you saying you don't know why you would stab somebody, or you don't know what?
Oh, I definitely don't know why I would stab somebody.
Okay.
In court, Day pled guilty to attempted murder. This was the moment she learned her sentence.
On count one, Madam Clerk. Life in prison